So I have a really hard time with repeating the same stories. To me, when I tell a story that I've already told, there's no enjoyment in hearing myself talk and tell the story that I've already told, even though the person I'm talking to maybe never heard it. And I'm thinking about this because I was just on a podcast telling stories that I had recently told on another podcast. And I realized, wow, it's really difficult for me to just tell the story again. One of the biggest lessons, though, that you learn when you're doing sales or marketing is that just around the time you get really sick of your brand is when the market is just starting to get to know your brand, just starting to learn it, to like it, to love it. And that's when you start getting sick of it and wanting to change things. That was an interesting thing that I learned doing marketing and advertising probably 20 years ago, is to not change things too often or too quickly, because it really does take time for the market to start to love your brand. Also, when you're selling stuff, you learn that people don't buy the first time you tell them about a product. It's generally 7, 8, even 10 times that they have to hear about a product before they're going to be like, yeah, I know about this product, I want to buy it. So that many touch points means that you have to repeat the message over and over and over. And then on a personal brand level, telling those stories, especially when it's something that's a platform where you have an audience, and the purpose of telling the story is so that the audience can hear who you are, your knowledge, learn the lesson that you learned from the story, etc. It's something that I'm learning for myself is, even if I'm tired of telling this story, how can I, instead of just getting sick of it and being like, oh, I'm sick of telling this story, other people have never heard the story. So how can I make the story better? How can I make it more interesting, more impactful? How can it add more value to the conversation? How can it be more philosophically interesting? Or how can it challenge people in the way that they are thinking? Or how can it bring up wider issues about socioeconomics or politics or religion or whatever it is? Regenerative agriculture. Just because you've told a story many times doesn't mean that other people don't want to hear it. This is something that's really hard for me because I can't even watch the same movie. If it's my favorite movie, I can't even watch it again. Because it's like, oh yeah, I remember that from 25 years ago. Amazing movie, I love it. Want to watch it again? No. So it's something that I have in myself that I'm just discovering. I don't like telling the same story over and over and over again. But I need to find ways to improve the story. And then put it in a database. Make a spreadsheet of all my most interesting stories that people like to hear, and then figure out how to make those better, more interesting, more memorable, more impactful. So that's my thought for the day.
Like and subscribe.